Andy, what did McLean do so well tonight?
It was great. I thought he bounced back early from being behind pretty consistently, and he managed to get out of those kind of first couple innings. Avoided hits early because of that. Pitched behind more than he would like to, or we'd like him to. Really found his groove there for a while. Just great 6 innings of work. One pitch that I'm sure he wants back. Tried to go top shelf against Albies, didn't get it up high enough in an 0-2 count, and that pitch plays if he gets it there. So threw it with conviction, just got it to the wrong spot.
Anything in particular that he was able to do early on to get out of those, counts where he was pitching from behind?
Yeah, the sinker played nicely. Got a lot of ground balls for him. Some really nice plays behind him too. The catch and left by AJ was sensational. I don't think there's hardly any left fielder in baseball that makes that play. So that was big, and thought we had some nice plays around him.
How reassuring is it to you? I mean, we're getting into August, and sometimes young pitchers, especially rookies, maybe start hitting a wall at this point. And it seems that that's not happening with Nolan.
He's doing great. Nolan's the kind of guy that would have loved to have run back out for the 7th, but we are like in a down game, factoring in the fact that he's on a 5-day for the first time in a while. He's thrown a lot of pitches his last number of outings, so 85 pitches, six innings and 1 run and 1 hit. That's a good day's work for him in August in his first year.
For someone like him, whose stuff obviously moves as much as it does, what is the key to more consistently getting ahead in counts?
I think he does that. He can do that. He's run through some outings where he hasn't, and even the ones that end up with a great line, like those are his growth opportunities. And for him, like, I know he's out there like trying to fill up the strike zone. Takes him a minute to kind of find his bearings at times, but the stuff is really, really good, as you said.
Talk about that Ewing catch in left field. I mean, this is a guy that a few years ago had never even played the outfield before. What is it just naturally that you think allows him to so easily take to whatever position you throw him in out there?
Fast, fearless, aggressive. Like, he plays the game the right way. He's always locked in out there. He doesn't take a pitch off. So those things all together make a really good outfielder. I also want to acknowledge catch Luis Robert made up against the wall too. That was a really nice play for us today.
Not that 97 is anything to sneeze at, but Jan's last 2 outings, he hasn't had quite the top-end velocity he did in the first one. What goes into that in your mind?
Yeah, I don't know him that well yet. I'll say the turned loose version of him throwing 100 through more strikes. And oftentimes guys that might walk somebody might dial it down because they know they got to throw strikes, and that can be counterproductive. We all have that instinct at times trying to control things. I think he's going to be his best when he turns himself loose and is confident. He's got good stuff, and I think that probably leads to a couple ticks higher on the fastball. I don't think it evaporated just because he's been doing it in the minor leagues for a while now.
What did Perez do so well against you guys tonight?
Changeup was really special. We didn't make the appropriate adjustments to it. Only left a couple up. I think he left one up to AJ, left one up to Luis Robert, but there weren't a lot of great ones to hit. He made big pitches when he had to. Carson had good at bats off of him all day. That down and away changeup was well located, and he got the double play ball. We have to get that changeup up if we're going to do well against him, and we chased too many of them today.
Nolan, what do you think you did so effectively against the Braves tonight?
I think just mixing the pitches. They were pretty aggressive, and I was just, for the most part, did enough to get off the barrel.
Andy was just saying how early on he thought you did a really good job after falling from behind getting out of those counts. When you did fall behind early, what were you able to do to effectively limit any damage there?
I think some of it's luck. I mean, you never want to be behind an account. And then was able to throw a lot of off-speed pitches behind an account too to get some softer contact. And then obviously some great plays made behind me too. Never hurts.
The 0-2 pitch to Albies, were you looking to elevate that or kind of freeze him in the outside corner? What was the intention?
I mean, it was fairly executed. I wasn't trying to really punch him by any means for a strikeout there, but I would have liked it slightly more elevated. But he made a good swing on a pitch that was pretty close to the outside corner, so tip my cap.
We're at a point in the season, a lot of young pitchers maybe hit the wall. When we get to August, what's been the key to you just kind of staying strong here, even though you're like probably 20 innings past where you were last year, and the fact you've been able to stay strong this?
I don't know. I think a lot of it's working out in between your starts, not really changing the routine. Even if you don't feel the best in between the starts, just getting in the weight room and getting after it anyways, to keep the strength up. And then early in the year we talked about throwing too much in between starts and just kind of being mindful of your chronic workload in between starts as well.
I was just going to ask that, but do you feel like you've settled into a really nice in-between start routine over the last couple of months?
It's always a work in progress, I think. I'm constantly tweaking it to figure out what works for me. So, and sometimes it's different. You can't be super, I guess, self-conscious about it if you don't get everything in, and just trusting that it's going to be there every 5 days.
You've been in the big leagues for just about a year now. How do you feel overall about not just the body of work, but how you've been able to adapt and evolve as this last year has gone on?
Yeah, I mean, there's still a lot of work to do, I think. Still a lot of games left, too, in this season, and I wouldn't say that the body of work's finished. I can learn every time I go out there, and each lineup's completely different, too, so I think it proposes a good challenge every time I go out there on how to navigate lineups multiple times through the order. And I guess the goal is just keep learning from that.